Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Resource Rising Stars, for the invite. This is the first time that Strandline Resources has been at this forum, so it's my pleasure to present the Strandline story to you today. So Strandline Resources, an emerging mineral sands mining company with a highly strategic portfolio of assets in Australia and Tanzania, along the coastline of Tanzania, including 2 development-ready projects positioned to generate strong near-term cash flow for the company. It's an improving mineral sands backdrop, improving market coming off its low base through 2013, 14, 15, 16. Products used in everyday life, strong fundamentals. It's quite a mature sector. New capital projects are desperately required to meet the demand today, and that is to feed for the demand for zircon and titanium feedstock. China is the largest consumer of zircon and titanium in the world. The timing is right for Strandline. We are well positioned to capitalise. Our projects are being pulled through by the market. The company is seriously undervalued, and it's an exciting year ahead. A simple strategy with a strong investment rationale, which I look forward to taking you through today. So as it's the first time to present, we're ASX listed, STA is the code. Market cap in the order of 40 million Australian dollars. Quite tightly held stock in that the top 20 own 68% of it. Tembo Capital, a private equity group out of London, own a cornerstone stake of 35%. Cash in bank is a little bit more than that number up the top with exercise of options. We've got about 4.5 in the bank through exercise of options in the small print down below the graph. We've had a minor re-rating and many more to come. Our analysts, there are analysts who are doing research on Strandline, Patterson's, Argonaut, and have a hefty price target, our short-term price target. Geographic diversification is critical. A little bit about mineral sands, the global market, where the mines are, where the production is coming from. Africa has been emerging over the last decade. 40% of global mineral sands production approximately comes out of Africa. Zircon, rutile, ilmenite. And 25 to 30% comes out of Australia. So we're strategically located in the 2 largest producing mineral sands regions of the world. We have multiple projects along the Tanzanian coastline. 2,000 square kilometres of HMS tenure. We had first mover advantage there and was able to accumulate what we consider the best ground along the coastline, which we've been systematically exploring over many years. In Australia, a lower risk mining jurisdiction with one of the most advanced large-scale zircon projects globally, called the Coburn Project. Our strategy in exploration is to target zircon and titanium, high-value minerals. We've already got over 20 years of production defined at DFS level or greater. Our in-situ value-heavy mineral in the ground right now and our under JORC resource classification is globally significant, and it's my management team and my responsibility to commercialise that portfolio over time. A little bit on the rising mineral sands market. It's an improving commodity price trend, as I said, through 2017, driven mainly by urbanisation, global growth, and a broadening a range of applications for the product use. Products used in everyday life, paint, paper, construction materials, ceramics is the biggest use for zircon globally. Over 50% of its application is in ceramics, ceramic tiles, and so forth. Chemical industry, there's emerging technologies that are using the titanium products that come out of mineral sands mines, as well as zircon. And obviously there's the titanium metal industries, which are particularly the aerospace sector. The market's influenced, like a lot of commodities, by closure of some existing mines and a decline in grades. New capital projects are required to meet this future demand, and Strandline, with its Coburn and its Fungoni projects, is well positioned to meet that demand. So the rest of the presentation will take you through a little bit on the Fungoni project, the starter project in Tanzania, onto the Coburn project, which is also at the starting gates, and then the upside, the very exciting upside, as we go from the Kenyan border down to the Mozambique border and continue to explore and build our JORC resources and in time reserves to develop a pipeline of projects. So the Fungoni project is 25 kilometres from the Dar es Salaam port, so about 45 minutes to the port. The port there is the 4th largest port in Africa, and they're expanding it as we speak. DFS was completed in October last year. Environmental mining licence is in place. The reason the company chose this as our first project, our most advanced project, to push it through that, is it's a good size for Strandline to prove the concept in Tanzania. The ore body is rich, it's at surface, 12 metres thick, and it'll be mined. And the RC ratio, the revenue to cost ratio, is at the best quartile. 2.7 to 3 is the RC ratio, which is important for the company. Environmental certificate, as I said, is already in place. We're now awaiting the mining licence. And just in this morning's newspaper, over in Tanzania, there's a press release around 7,000 mining licences have been approved by the newly appointed Mining Commission. And that's a bit of a long time coming for me, but it's really only about 9 months after Tanzania have brought in probably the well overdue mining reform in the sector, where the Tanzanian government are very much focused on driving local content and benefiting more from the mining sector in Tanzania. Tanzania has been a very favourable jurisdiction for mining over the last 2 to 3 decades, and they've finally gone through a reform. And some key other aspects of that reform is driving better corporate social responsibility and holding mining companies accountable for that. Also trying to ensure that there's technology transfer and career development within Tanzania. And more importantly, and most importantly actually, is they're trying to ensure that corruption is out of the sector. So they're ensuring that all mining companies are signing up and committing to high integrity practices in Tanzania. So probably well overdue. If you look at it from a Tanzania's perspective, for me, it's short-term delay for long-term improvement in the sector. We can see ourselves in Tanzania for 2 to 3, maybe 4 decades, and we're happy it's happened now rather than later. Importantly, on the Fungoni project, it's about a 7-year mine life project. It's based on modular relocatable infrastructure. A lot of the prefabrication and assembly will be done outside of Tanzania in the first instance, de-risking that destruction and be plug-or-play type infrastructure, which will be reused in our future projects along that coastline as we define them and get ready for that. Binding offtake, take-or-pay type arrangements are already in place for 90%, over 90% of my project's revenue for the life of mine, and that's with the largest producers in China. So Fungoni is a very rich, sweet ore body, a great project, a modest scale project for the company to commercialise in the first instance. 55% of the revenue is from zircon, and the balance, 28% from ilmenite, a little bit from rutile and monazite. Fungoni paves the way for a succession of projects in Tanzania. Just trying to move on here. Okay. So it's a bit of a step change project here in Coburn. A lot of money has been spent on this project over the last few decades. It's based just south of Shark Bay, north of Geraldton, about 250 kilometres. Geraldton is a mineral sands port, has been for many years. Luca has a big position there for imports and exports of mineral sands out of that. DFS was completed. This project actually started construction in 2012-13 when POSCO, the Korean major, was looking at earning an interest in this project to move it into execution. Strandline, and that project didn't go ahead at that particular time because the market actually dropped significantly in a short space of time, and POSCO reneged on their MOU with the company at the time. Strandline picked up this asset at the lowest point in the cycle in 2015, and have since been doing our review, putting our thoughts, our thinking, our experience into how to do this project better. And we're working through that this year, and we can see a line of sight to a potential development decision at the end of this calendar year. Importantly, the products are in high demand. I was in China last week presenting the Strandline story. We haven't done a great deal of marketing over this last 12 months on this company because we've been head down, building substance, defining our projects, significant amount of exploration in Tanzania, and I've got a very good feedback that the market is trying to pull this project forward. So offtake agreements are hopefully around the corner on this project. This is a 20-year mine life, 19-plus year mine life. We're doing some re-optimisation on the ore body now. It's dry mining, the strip ratio is low. It's got a very low slimes content on that at 2.7%. Low geopolitical risk. The land access for the first 15 years of the mine life, Strandline owns the pastoral lease that it's on. So land access is very good. It's a modest capex in terms of large-scale mineral sands projects. We're looking at driving that capex from 173 down further through some engineering and optimisation, applying some new technology, simplifying the product suite for the market, which has changed in our favour. So those numbers will hopefully improve when we reissue shortly. This is the big upside for the company, and this is really quite exciting. As you can see on the map at the top there, you've got Kenya that has commercial mines there. Some people in the audience may know Base Resources, ASX-listed Base Resources based out of Perth, have been operating since 2013. Great success story, particularly as the mineral sands market has improved over the last 18 months. Our most northern assets are about 40 kilometres away from theirs. And you can see Mozambique's got some significant mineral resources down there and into South Africa. So that corridor of sand down the southeast coast produces a lot of the mineral sands production in the world. And we have got the little gap in the middle across that Tanzanian coastline. And as you can see, through the magenta in the north of the country and the blue shaded tenements in the south of the country. So this time last year, I brought Rio Tinto in as a joint venture partner. Rio Tinto is the largest titanium producer in mineral sands globally and the second largest zircon producer in the world. They've got asset stakes in Mozambique, Madagascar, and also in the Richards Bay project down in South Africa. Rio need to secure long-term supply. They've got a very strong technical knowledge of mineral sands, and they have been sole funding the exploration in the south, which was very greenfield for us. We had not done justice to that ground whatsoever, while we focus in the north on our core assets, which are more advanced. We are still operating that joint venture, so we are the ones. Strandline is the one that is drilling in the south. So last year we probably had the most mineral sands exploration globally, with drill rigs in the north, drill rigs in the south going for most of the year. And those results are all starting to come through now. So a lot of news flow on mineral sands discoveries have been filtered out, and we've got more to come. So we're really putting Tanzania and mineral sands on the map in that country. The Tanzanian government have a real push to diversify their sector and commercialise industrial minerals, such as mineral sands, graphite, lithium, those type of projects. And we're well positioned to work with the government and the people of Tanzania. This gives you a little flavour of the Tajiri deposit up near the Kenyan border. Fungoni is, as I said, the first project. This is about 5 to 10 times bigger than that particular project. That's 20 kilometres of strike. That's already JORC indicated resource. Unfortunately, fortunately, I suppose it's still open, and and that's turning into world class. It's a step change project in Tanzania, and that's why Fungoni is so important to prove the concept and move into that project. Bagamoyo in between Tanga region and also Dar es Salaam, we've also made some strong discoveries there, and also in joint venture with Rio down the bottom of the country near the Mtwara port, we've got the Sudi project. So to leave you with a brief investment rationale. So a company going places in mineral sands, quite a mature sector. projects that are ready for development and significant exploration upside. So thank you very much for listening. Appreciate it.